and it is another episode of Cat Calls. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a really great guest, but before we get into the great guest, I have some things to tell you about the show. Cat Calls, I do this every Thursday on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/catbine. Why am I saying that out loud if you're already on the Twitch? Because I upload all of these episodes to YouTube afterwards. So if you ever want to check out a past Cat Calls, head on over to YouTube, follow me there, just search for Catbine, Katbein, or search for Cat Calls, and come find me over there. I've got a lot of really great episodes that you can catch up on right now. I just uploaded Tisha, I've got Treasure Fingers, St. Punk is going to go up soon, I've got old interviews with Louis the Child, Dead Mouse and Carl Cox, all kinds of really cool stuff. Also, before I get into it, check it out. I made some fun new gifts today. So today, while you're playing along, if you go into the chat points down below next to your chat. Zach and I just showed this before the intro played, but yeah, if you use your points, you can have me do a fun fact, and when that happens, I'll be like, fun fact, whoa, it's a fun fact, and then I'll say like whatever stupid fun fact I want to say, which I already used my favorite go-to one, which is, did you know that Michael Jackson helped write the music for the video game Sonic the Hedgehog 3? Yeah, it's true. That's a fun fact. All right, I'm a dork. Thank you, Michael Milano. Yes, it is a live Q&A with LP Giobbi. We are about to get going. Thank you, MV916. Oh, yeah. Just so you guys know, if you redeem for 100 points a fun fact, I'm going to make LP Giobbi say a fun fact, too. So she didn't even know she was in for that. I decided that in the last hour. Also, a little self-promo. Oh, thank you, Ply2K, for following. Now, I do this show all by myself. You can probably tell because look at it. It's strapped together with like duct tape, I don't know, probably all of those things. And if you'd like to support the show, please give me a follow, just like Ply2K, I think was the name, just did. You could also subscribe. I get like $2 out of that. Or you could send me a tip on PayPal. In my About page, you'll find my PayPal. Or you can hit me up on Venmo. Thank you, Michael Milano. Thank you so much for following. Yeah, it all makes a difference. Even $1 makes me holler, honey boo boo. Anyway, oh, thank you so much. Yay, that's what makes a fun streamer. Ply2K, yay. Oh, wow, the powers that be, you're cute too. Budget Cyrus, Eggdon 6565. I don't know what that means, but yeah, you know, it rhymes with Cyrus, papyrus. Anyway, I could not be more excited to welcome today's guest. We already said her name, but everyone give it up for LP Giobbi. I know. Oh, you're clapping. It's really amazing. You can tone it down. All right. Yes. LP Giobbi and I already had so much fun on our practice call. I just know that this episode is going to be great, and I'm so happy to have all of you here for it. LP came up in the musical world as a jazz pianist. I hear she actually used to play in clubs here in San Francisco, where I am currently based, and it makes a lot of sense to hear that, because when you listen to her music, which she calls piano house, you know, the piano definitely takes front and center. There's so much energy packed into each of her tunes, and she's worked with some of my favorite artists, including Sophie Tucker, TT the Artist, Little Boots, and others. I mean, she's really like phenomenal. Beyond her own incredible work as a producer and DJ, she's also the founder of a group called Femme House. It's a nonprofit dedicated to making space for women and non-binary people in the music industry by teaching them the technical aspects of music, and not just how to be producers and DJs, but how to be mixers, sound engineers, giving them network opportunities and mentorships to just really kind of even the playing field in what has traditionally been a male-dominated industry. And who doesn't love that? I love that. Her latest single is called Take Me Higher, and it features a frequent collaborator of hers, her Mix-a-Lot. I think it is the perfect tune to introduce you to LP Giobbi's career if you're not familiar, but it sounds like a lot of you guys are familiar, so we'll just have a fun dance party listening to it ourselves. It's full of that soulful, high-energy piano house, classic house kind of vibe, and it actually has a cool visualizer that she made for it, and it's not even out on YouTube, but I have it. That's right, the first ever exclusive on Cat Calls. I'm beside myself, can you tell? So let's watch the video for Take Me Higher featuring Her Mix-a-Lot. And when we come back, we'll have LP Giobbi on the line. So get your questions ready. This is an interactive show. We're here for it. Elena's Photo's here for it. Michael Milano's here for it. Powers Up here for it. Let's do this. Sorry about the lag. I'm glad that you still enjoyed it. Haley Jackson, thanks for following me. Jackie, it's so good to see you here. All right, everybody, one more round of applause. We're bringing LP Giobbi. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, yeah. There you are. There you are. And you actually look super crystal clear now for a second ago.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I switched over my internet, so I just had to connect to the internet. That was all.
Oh, well, you know how these things go. I totally understand. That blasted internet. Alexei says, hearts, fire, fire, hearts. I think that was for Take Me Higher, which we were just watching, that awesome psychedelic visualizer. Why don't you tell me a little bit about Take Me Higher? And that song sees you collaborate with Her Mix-a-Lot, which I've noticed you've collaborated a lot with Her Mix-a-Lot. Collab a lot.
My gal. She actually runs Femme House with me.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, my co-founder. And she's been in the music industry for a long time. And then I started working with her because, so I was in this weird synth electronic experimental band.
Yeah, I want to hear about it.
Yes, I'll tell you all about it. But, and then when I started touring with Sophie and Tucker, as Sophie Tucker, they were like, why don't you start making music you can actually play in your DJ sets? Like, what a novel idea. So when I started doing that, I was working on just, making the best house beats I could make. And I reached out to Lauren Spalding, Her Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you, but someone's turn it up.
Is that better?
Is it better, friends? Is it better?
Is this better?
Check 1, 2. I mean, I should.
It feels loud. Check 1, 2. Okay, yeah. You just let me know if I need to turn it up.
Okay.
And so I would play her some of these beats, and I was looking for feminist poems, essentially, to go over these beats I was writing. And so the very first song that I ever made, and the first poem she ever brought me, was Amber Rose.
Which I'm obsessed with, that song. Oh my God. I was playing it before we really, played the intro and did the whole thing, but I love that song.
It is. But my friend, actually, after that was released, called me from Fire Island in New York, and he was like, "All the gays are out here listening to this song." And I was like, "I made it! That's it! That's all I ever needed."
Seriously.
And so, so we started working together that way. And as we had both developed as artists, and my songs, started using more beautiful piano ideas and loops, and sort of started spreading it a little bit outside house into, listening to all the genres and taking inspiration from all of them. She sent me her very first vocal of her singing, which is the vocal in Take Me Higher and also Scuff Your Soul.
Nice.
And I mean, it's one of my favorite vocals I've ever heard ever. It's stunning. Mm-hmm. So I spent the next year and a half maybe two and a half years. She said that to me years ago.
Really?
And yes, and I just I wasn't good enough for the track yet. I wasn't good enough for the vocal yet. And so I probably have made 9 or 10 iterations of that song. It's truly. And, it's funny to listen back. The first one is pretty world sounds. And the second one is tech house, bass drop, it almost follows the fads of dance.
Oh yeah, it's like a diary of your life and the dance floors you were on for the last 2 years.
Exactly. And these two finally I felt like Take Me Higher was finally good enough for the vocal. And it was actually, I'd written that song I just wrote it, and I didn't think that it was going to have a vocal. And then I was playing it for Sophie and Tucker was like, "Wait, remember that vocal that Lauren sang on?
That you've been playing with
on this?" And I threw it on there, and it was like it was made for it. It was crazy. I was like, "This is it. This is the studio god saying, here you go." So finally, that's how that all came to be.
That's great. I love that. So this song is actually representative of your personal journey and you reaching the higher peaks of creativity.
Totally. And finally, I was like, we just have to get this out, or else I'm going to keep writing this for the next, 20 years, and it's just going to follow all the music fads.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Hey,
I'm glad it's finally out. But I feel finally like I am proud of this, and I sent it to both versions, to both Stuff Your Soul and Take Me Higher, to Lauren, and she said, "You finally did it."
Yeah.
So I knew I had made her proud.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, Haley Jackson says it was amazing. Everyone's in here just excited. Also, Apply2K says that your volume is better, so that's good.
Oh, good. Yay. Does it sound like I'm in a tin can? Honestly, I'm not really sure why.
It could just be the fact that my computer speaker is a little busted and I have to feed it through a microphone after that.
Love it. Great. I love tin cans, so we're good. Perfect.
It's just, imagine that you're 7 and you've got a tin can tied to another tin can and we're speaking to each other through the wall, and that's how the internet works.
I love that. I was actually discussing doing that with my neighbor here, so I love that.
Good. I'm glad, because there's not a whole lot about I can do about it right now.
By neighbor, I mean Xander. Xander and I were discussing that.
Xander is Xanda in the chat.
Xanda is Xanda.
Xanda Xanda is throwing down in this chat. I love it. I love a lively chat. Giobbi, what T-shirt are you wearing today?
I am wearing. I am wearing one of my parents' many vintage Grateful Dead T-shirts that I have either stolen or been given. I think this one I was gifted.
They wouldn't know the difference. You said they've got like 140 of them or something.
Honestly, actually, I was recently called out. My dad. I took one of my last time I was home. I went into the closet to find something, and I found like some more. My parents had given me a bunch of concert tees for my last birthday, and I went in the closet and I found some more, and I was like, what is this? What are these doing in here? Why didn't you give me, my dad's like, no, those are mine, those are the ones that I love those, like, you can't take those. And so I was like, okay, well, just while I'm home, can I wear this one? Like, I won't take it.
Oh, sneaky.
And then I put it on, and then my mom was like, you look so cute in it. Like, I was like, I lost it, didn't I? So I got to thank you. But yeah, they went to every Dead show they went to. They somehow had the wherewithal to buy a T-shirt, thank goodness. And they literally have about like 80 of them. I mean, they've been to like 120 Dead shows. So
that's amazing. Did they ever bring you to any? Like, how many Dead shows have you been to?
So in July, my parents had said the next time, July of, I don't know what year Jerry passed, but so Jerry passed in August, and the July before, I mean, I was still pretty young. I was like under 8 or 10 or something. They said, okay, we're going to bring you to the next Grateful Dead show the next time they come through Autzen or through Eugene, Oregon, where I grew up. And I will never forget the next month, Jerry passed away, and it was on my brother's birthday.
Oh my God.
Birthday party. And my parents were hosting all these like young children, it was like a Ninja Turtle themed birthday party.
Hell yeah, and Michelangelo's my fave.
My parents had to call a neighbor to come because they both went to the bedroom to like sob and mourn. It was as if like my closest family member had died. That's how it felt.
Oh,
obviously, didn't know him or anything. Yeah. And so I never got to see Grateful Dead proper, but I have seen so many iterations. Dead & Co., Mickey Hart's band, Phil Lesh and Friends. I've seen all the iterations whenever they've toured since then.
Wow. Is your innate love for the Grateful Dead part of what brought you to San Francisco when it was time for university? Because you must have read Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Girl, yes. Well, so I am in the music industry probably because of, in part, in a weird, twisted way, the Grateful Dead. So I was in college and I was studying jazz piano performance because my parents were like, take all the classes you love, and then like that will give you your major. And I was, and then I graduated with a degree in jazz piano performance, and I was like, that was the worst advice ever. I need to get a job. What the heck? And I had just my last semester in college, I read Bill Graham Presents. And Bill Graham Presents is Bill Graham is famous, a San Francisco guy, because he was one of the first like kind of like big name promoters, and he put on the first Grateful Dead shows. And so that's kind of how he got his start in his career. And so I read this book, and nothing in college had gotten my blood boiling and excited like this book, because I felt so many of the references in the 70s where it really made me feel close to my parents, you know, who like probably experienced a lot of these shows, and like where I come from. And so it just felt like a cool full circle moment. And I researched Bill. He had passed away in a helicopter crash, I think, years before. But the gentleman who took over his company, Greg Perloff, started his own company called Another Planet Entertainment. And so I did a little research on them, and I found out that their office was located down the street from my apartment in Berkeley.
Nice.
So I wrote a letter as to why they needed to hire me.
And you slipped it under the door. No.
I walked down there, and I pressed the doorbell, and I said, I have a meeting with Greg Perloff, and they believed me, and they let me in. So I walked upstairs, and then they saw I was like, you know, a 20-year-old girl, and they were like, what is this meeting about? And I was like, oh, it's just they're like, yeah, he's busy right now. And then, you know, they were trying to get me out of the office, but luckily right then Greg walked out of his office, and I knew what he looked like because I had stalked him on the internet.
Of course.
And so I walked over to him, and I handed him this letter, and I was like, this is why you should hire me. And he read it on the spot and hired me. So that was my first and only job. And
wow, what were you doing? What was your job there?
So I was marketing the Fox Theater.
Wow, incredible.
And helping on Outside Lands Music Festival and Treasure Island Music Festival and the Bill Graham Building.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was, you know, my first taste in the music industry, and learning all about what an agent and a manager, and, you know, how concerts are put together. And it was really, really, I'm really grateful for that job.
I'm inspired by that story. I hope everyone at home realizes that stalking pays off, okay, people?
Back now, I'm like, that is crazy. I totally thought it was normal. I'm like, this is the job I want. I'm going to do it. I'm like, that's crazy. What happened, you know?
Oh, yeah, you're very lucky in that sense, but I think, you know, you were read up. You knew the history. You were ready. You had a good plan. You know, you weren't just a crazy person showing up off the street like, I think I should work here. You were like, I have all these receipts, these cultural receipts. Look, I got a Deadhead shirt on. Like, let's
totally.
do this.
These are my people. There's definitely a lot of jokes about that in the office, though, about how crazy I was for like the next 5 years that I worked there.
I believe it. Yeah. I mean, when it starts off with a bang like that, you know, you can't let them down. You got to keep being the crazy girl in the office. Like, that's the only place there's left to go.
Yes.
I just want to shout out, because this is amazing to me. Michael Milano in the chat said that his dad went to one of the original acid tests, which I wish I could pull him through the camera right now.
That is so my high school teacher, I grew up in Eugene, Oregon. My high school teacher, her name was Mrs. Babs, and she was married to Ken Babs, who is Ken Kesey's best friend.
Shut up. So wait, he was best friends with someone with the same name? That's amazing. Anyway.
Right? Yes. So a lot of the acid tests, like, so for I'm trying to remember what we were studying. We were studying maybe One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Ken Kesey's one and only novel broke through. For anyone who doesn't know, Ken Kesey was just hailed as like the next great American author. He was in school, maybe at Berkeley, I'm not totally sure. Wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Everyone was like, you're the best. And then he was like, I'm done writing. My art form is going to be people. and he basically just formed a crazy group and started doing acid.
Merry pranksters. So we got to watch the video footage of those acid tests in our AP English class.
Shut up.
Babs.
That is so cool.
That is. So that is awesome, Michael. That is really interesting and fascinating, and that whole time period is a trip. Literally. I know. So very cool.
I'm fascinated. I was very excited to hear that you had such a personal history with San Francisco. I've been living here since like July. And it's real cool. I saw
You're new to the place.
I'm new to the place. I'm from South Florida, baby.
Whoa, check you out.
I know. You know, I picked the best time to come. You know, it's a lot cheaper than usual. I'm not going out to bars every weekend or anything.
I love that. How fun.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'd love some tips from you about best ways to enjoy the city. But I also saw that you used to play jazz piano at clubs around the city, and I'm wondering what clubs. I used to love going to Black Cat with my boyfriend until COVID happened, but...
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, where did you play?
Oh my gosh, it's right down the street from the Independent. It is called Madrone Art Bar.
Ooh,
I
okay. I'm
play
gonna
there
check it
every
out.
Saturday night, from 7 to 9 p.m. They put my name down as Lady Leah on the board, which is funny. So
Ooh,
that was like a
Lady
name
Leah.
that was like my jazz alter ego. And I played solo jazz piano for a few hours, and it was a blast.
What's it?
If you can, I don't know if that bar's open right now or what the deal is, but Michael is the gentleman who owns it, and he's really special, and that place has been around forever, and it's, check it out if you can.
I will. I hope it's still standing, and when things open up, and I will, first place I go, I swear.
Good.
As a solo jazz pianist, is that similar to acting as a DJ and kind of reading the crowd and trying to keep a vibe going? I don't know if you were improvising or if you were playing things that you had prepared or brought with you. But the first time I'm thinking about that. Like, is there a connection now that you've done both?
Yeah, totally. Great question. Yes, totally. There is a huge connection to that. It's kind of the same as like, okay, well, I came to this gig with what's on my USB stick, and then I'm going to do my best to read the room, but I do only have these tracks on this, but I still have to, play the right tracks at the right time, given the tools that I have. And same thing with my jazz piano gigs. I had like, I knew as many songs I could possibly fit into my brain. And then when it felt like I needed to play more of a ballad and like a slower song, I would play that. And it felt like it was like heating up and people were like getting drunk and like, then I would kind of speed it up a little bit. And then if I felt like there needs to be a little bit more poppin' and faster paced songs, I would just like make the solos longer so that I could fill that space, Yeah, absolutely. There is for sure a similarity there.
That's awesome. And I just want to say a quick shout out to band kids. I was a band kid in grade school. I know Jackie in the chat was a band kid. I played clarinet, and
Same here.
Shut up! Yes, clarinet gang. I still have my clarinet
all the way through a marching band at UC Berkeley.
Yes, that's incredible.
Band nerd.
I was in the marching band too. I marched mellophone my senior year. I had to like remember what it was fucking called.
Very cool.
Yeah, I had a nice little switch over, but yeah, shout out marching band, man. I'm impressed that you kept it going through university as well, because that's a next level.
To be fair, I did 1 year there, but then I was like, wait, 6 a.m. practices, because we had to use the field when the football team wasn't. 6 a.m. practices, and you not only have to memorize all of the songs because you can't have your sheet music in front of you, but then you have to memorize the steps. I'm like, this is the hardest I've ever worked ever. This is insane. All my parents, they came to one of the games. They drove down from Eugene, and they showed up wearing these shirts I'll never forget.
Oh yeah.
They went to like a marching band website or something, and my mom was wearing a shirt that said, "What is the football team doing on our field?" And my dad was wearing a shirt that said, "Game time is halftime." And they're sports people, and they showed up like, "We're here for the marching band." I'm like, they're the best parents in the world.
Oh, band parents are they're a whole breed,
Totally. Yes.
Okay, sorry, I just had to slap that in there because band kid pride. I think we had some more band kids in the chat too. But I want to go back to that jazz band situation, jazz kid, jazz club. Thank you. Where are my words? Here they are. Jazz club days. Because I heard that you were recruited for that electronic girl band that you were in by someone who worked for Daft Punk?
That is correct.
Who was that?
That was crazy. His name is Peter Franco, and he did the engineering and some of the producing with them for their last handful of albums.
Wow.
Yeah, so I honestly, when I was approached for that gig, I didn't know anything about electronic music. If I'm still kicking myself. We had a sister program at UC Berkeley that did teach electronic music, and I, wanted nothing to do with it. I was a total music snob, and
you and your jam bands and your jazz piano.
Totally. They're not playing real instruments, and they're like, oh, if I could just. Anyway, so I really didn't know anything, and I even said to him, like, I don't even know how to turn on a synthesizer. Like, I do not think I'm qualified for this, because it was an all electronic band. And he said, no, if you can learn the music theory and you know how to play, like, everything else that'll be easy for you. And thank goodness I believed him, because I was like, oh, okay, if you say it's going to be easy. I'm so glad that I was lied to in that sense, because when I moved down to LA to had this experience, it was a really sharp, steep learning curve for me to learn
Yeah.
how to sound design and, you know, what oscillators were and how to make the sound that I needed to play before I played it instead of just sitting down at a piano and playing. For the first like year or two, I kind of hated it. I was like, I just want to play and not have to focus on all these other things, and not the notes, but you know, the sound. And then over time, I just became obsessed, and
Yeah.
I can't imagine not, you know, getting to make the sound before I play it at this point. But it was a really long journey, and had I not sort of said yes before I knew what I was doing, I never would have done it. So thank goodness to that.
Yeah. Well, and it makes sense that that experience, I imagine, must have inspired you to create Femme House, like, which is just dedicated to helping.
1,000%.
Yeah. Talk to
That
me
is-
about when Femme House started and how you kind of took this journey from being like, I don't know how to do this, to I want to help other people know how to do this. Like, it's not so bad.
Those are really one and the same, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this, and I don't really have the right resources, and
Yeah.
you know, that kind of made me. I knew. So what happened was we were constantly in studios with male producers, and we had great, awesome experiences. I learned so much and was totally supported, and really enjoyed all of it. But it wasn't until I heard that Grimes produced her own album, whatever album was coming out around that, you know, about like 6 years ago. And I read an article with her, and she talks a lot about how she had to battle to be her own producer. And the light bulb went off because I was raised by parents who were like, you can do anything, you know, like total hippie parents, like literally anything you want, you could do it, president, whatever.
Yeah,
and
you
so,
could steal my Grateful Dead t-shirts.
Yeah, totally. I really believe that. But because I didn't see myself in the role as producer, it didn't even occur to me that I could have that role.
Yeah.
And so then what that did was it made me go, what else do I not think I can do, because there's no visual representation of myself in that place? And then from that moment on, I became obsessed with the idea of being that visual representation for some other, you know, female. And so then I would, you know, I got Ableton, I got Pro Tools and all the DAW systems I could get my hands on. And like late at night, I would just like be tinkering in the programs, trying to figure out how to do things, and finally got the courage to approach the band and say, like, I really think I could be the producer. Like, could we try that? And they were patient and kind and very nice with me. And we took our living room and took out all the furniture and put in all the synths. We actually were able to use the Moog Voyagers from the Daft Punk Pyramid Tour. Those were the first ones I learned.
Not the actual ones.
The actual
Fuck,
ones.
I can't handle that. My brain's exploding.
Crazy. It was like the first synths I touched, which obviously is why I'm hooked. I mean,
oh my god!
So
did they go oh when you touch them?
They just lit up when I touched them. It was crazy. Made all the right sounds. Yeah, and so I got to learn working with this really talented, awesome group of inspiring women, and I feel so grateful for that experience. And very early on, I thought, you know, if I ever get to a place where I'm good enough to do this, I really want to, you know, make a safe space that, you know, the same kind of safe space I had for other women to learn this stuff. Because the first Ableton course I took, it was me and about 225 guys.
Wow.
And for me, that made me go like, bring it on, you know?
Right.
I know that that's not everybody's reaction, and nor should it be. And I just wanted to, it's also kind of like, you know, like guys, they go out golfing together.
Yeah.
They do a lot of business on the golf course, you know? I wanted a community where like you come and you learn, but then you're also networking, and you're also maybe like going to make tracks together one day. And it's like a space that you're able to have a girls club, and, you know.
I love that so much. Could you share with me some of the moments that you're most proud of with Femme House so far, or things that are coming up that we should know about as well?
Yes,
maybe participate.
Thank you for caring.
I care.
We got to do a really cool thing with Dolby Audio. This was like the last. I had a show in San Francisco. I was opening up for Galantis at Bill Graham.
Hey, shout out Bill Graham, shout out Galantis.
Yeah, shout out. It was so fun. It was so fun to be back there and see all the people I worked with, and you know, it was,
yeah.
Really
oh my god.
So, I mean, it was my last big show, so I feel grateful for that.
Wow.
Before the pandemic. So when we were up there, we put together this little thing with Dolby Audio. Their offices are down the street from Bill Graham. And we had about 12 women come and go into their studio where they're making music in Atmos, which is sort of 360 sound mixing experience where it's not just left, right stereo, but all over. It's how you can make music. And yeah, they're starting to release music that way. And
That's
so we got to
amazing.
do a day-long workshop with the people at Dolby who are working on that new amazing technology, and that was so
Wow.
cool and inspiring to see, how the women were talking about the future music they want to make with this program, and it was just really cool and exciting. But
That's
we
so
just
cool.
launched actually it starts on this Friday. Is that tomorrow? It's today
Yep.
Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow we
Woo!
kick off our second online course. So we have a free monthly workshop every month. That's now taking place on Zoom. And then we launched our first online course, which sort of takes the workshops and dives in more intensely. And it's a
Nice.
4-week course. And it's free for women of color, and then it's sliding scale after that.
Nice.
And the first one was all on just intro to Ableton, and then this next one is on beat making and programming drums.
I love
So
it.
that starts on Friday, and there's a live. You can take the class from 12 to 1 live on Zoom, but also if you can't take it at that time, then it's recorded, and all the assets and everything are online for you. So
Cool.
yeah, so that starts tomorrow.
Nice. Well, have fun. And I was wondering if things were saved a bit, because I saw on your website that you had something about finishing a song. And I'm always up my boyfriend's ass, who likes to produce for fun, about finish your song. So
I always say the last 10% takes 90% of your effort, without a doubt. Because like the creative flow, like once you're just in the flow and you're making and you're creating, but then like actually fine tuning all the sounds and everything that goes into the actual mix and
I know.
I know that's the hardest part.
Yeah,
of the
because
process.
what's really fun is jamming out and like coming up
Right.
with a cool idea, and then you're like, this loop is great. Let's listen to it for 3 hours. I'm done with it.
Totally, every time. It's wild. And like, so to me though, it's kind of a silver lining, because then the stuff that's really really good is the only stuff that you want to work on for the last night, for that last massive push that you need. And so at least it kind of like helps you, like, okay, this like isn't good enough to like keep going on, but the stuff that you love, you will hopefully put in that effort. But it's hard. It is. It's real.
No. Okay, we've been talking for a good while. You were so kind to share with me your cover of a Smashing Pumpkins song, and I'd love to play it for people if you're still down.
I love that.
Why don't you tell me what Smashing Pumpkins song it is and why you wanted to cover this song?
Yes. So, I'm sure I don't know if my manager's watching, but she's gonna be like, "What?" It's never been played yet. It is so the track is called "Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness," and it's the opening song on one of their albums, the 1980. What is that? Honestly, I forget the name of the album.
I think it's Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
Oh, is that also the name of the album? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. It's the title track and the opening track. But it is, my dad loved this album, and I listened to it 1,000 times over as a kid. He'd always put it on while making dinner and stuff. And I was in the car like a month ago, and it came on the radio. And now that I have this like completely new perspective on music since the last time I heard, now that I make electronic music,
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that song in so long, and it's the most beautiful. It's just piano and strings, and there's no drums in their version, the original, and it's just so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do halftime for the song, the BPM is about 125, and so I thought, well, that's the perfect house tune. And I went to Florida last month, and I was quarantining. Florida, what's that? Quarantining before moving into Sophie Tucker's house, where I was writing music and streaming with them. But I was alone in this little Airbnb for about 2 weeks, so I thought, like, this is the time to try to make that cover. And so I learned the piano part and recorded it, and then put down some drums and some hi-hats, and it just felt like I was like, how has this not been done? This is the perfect house song. It's like a very summer, poolside Ibiza kind of vibe, hopefully. But I was so excited. I sent it to my dad, and he was like, "No way! Like, I love house music." I was like, "Great!" So it was really fun to work on it.
That's awesome. Okay, so we're gonna play that, and when we come back, we'll have. If you guys have questions for LP Giobbi, drop them in the chat. We'll get to them. We'll ask a couple more things. So quick dance party break. Enjoy. Did you guys like that? I was not able to see everything in the chat, but I hope you guys liked it. I know I really enjoyed that cover. I was just talking to LP Giobbi about how I got into this whole Twitch thing because I was so inspired by all the DJs who were coming on to the platform and seeing what they were doing. And I realized, hey, this platform is for more than just video gamers gaming in their rooms, talking to people. Like, I can interview artists right here in front of people and have an interactive chat as well. What about you and your switch over to Twitch? Because you were just saying, like, if someone had told you 2 years ago that you were going to be streaming on Twitch, you'd be like, absolutely not.
I mean, I went to visit my parents. I obviously am very close to my parents, and I haven't gone to see them since the pandemic because they're older and compromised. And so I finally was like, you know what? I can't take this anymore. I'm going to go up there in quarantine and then, move into their pod. And so I was streaming out of their garage for like a month. And so I was just, the whole time I was thinking, if somebody had told me in 2020, you're going to be streaming on Twitch in your parents' garage, I'd be like, what went wrong? Like, what went terribly wrong?
So real.
Well, I guess the pandemic went wrong. And so, yeah, at first my manager calls me. I had like, I don't know, I had like 50 shows canceled in like 2.5 months.
Wow.
From March through like two European tours, a US tour.
Oh my God.
I was like, 2020 is my year. Like, this is gonna be it. And so when my manager called me to be like, everything is canceled. And I was going to tour this band called Mute. They are a techno marching band in Berlin.
I know them. They've done a cover of Daft Punk. They've done covers of like all these really great songs.
Yeah, they are. And when I got that offer, I was like, I get to tour with musicians, like play instruments. Like, I didn't even know how much my soul needed this.
Right up your alley.
Yeah. So when that got canceled, I was like,
God.
And my manager was like, you're gonna have to start streaming on Twitch like immediately. We're gonna have to get on this. Like, this is gonna be the only way forward for like the very long foreseeable future. And I thought, are you out of your mind? Like, my job as a DJ is to read a dance floor,
right,
and see what they need and push them a little bit and feed them and like how am I what? And the interesting thing has been with Twitch, it's so weird. You can still feel it. You can still feel in the dance floor. Something and that's partly, I think, because of the chat, and partly just because if you're in tune with like the music and there's like this weird, it's obviously not the same kind of feedback loop, but there still is one. And it's really cool and really special. And it's also forced me to, I got this sampler. I don't know if you can see it here, but I got this sampler. And so I've been, and obviously I have the keyboard, and I've been just sort of like working on more, like a few more live elements, like live creation at least, and, vibing a little bit harder. And that's actually taught me so much about the kind of music I want to make and the kind of music I can play. And I mean, and then Meet Again was written and changed my whole career. And so there's a lot of silver linings. I am finding though that all these things have happened in my career since the pandemic that I never even would have dreamed of, like being played on the radio, having over 1 million streams, like crazy things that truly I never thought would happen for me. But what I am learning is that what fuels me most as an artist is the dance floor. Yeah. And so it's a blessing and a curse. It's a really nice lesson to learn, because that's really what matters, is like that shared experience where you're part of something greater than yourself, and like that is truly what matters to me as a human, as an artist, which is so cool to officially know that. At the same time, it's like, dang, it's going to be a while.
I know.
But I do feel grateful to have learned that lesson. So, yeah.
Well, speaking of a lot of the things you just said there, some of the highlights in your career, Michael Milano had a question. He said, first time they ever saw you was opening for Wolfgang Gartner at Coachella. Whoa.
Oh,
cool. They want to know what that experience was like, and when was the first time you ever felt like, you made it!
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. The Coachella experience was so fun because all my friends, a lot of my friends were at the festival, and got to get ready in the trailer backstage, and it was just it was just such a fun, joyous time. And the dance floor was really, there were a few men in the front row with these huge fans, and they just like gave me all the energy. Yes, they're just. It was beautiful. When have I've had many moments of feeling like, wow, not necessarily like I've made it, but like I'm content with where I am in my life, which is like it's like, it's a rare experience. So I really
Yeah.
try to, like, when I do feel that, the few moments I felt that, I'm like, wait, take a deep breath, like, feel what this feels like in your body, like, try to remember and retain that.
Dude, I do the same thing. I do the same thing. Because you know there's going to be a moment where you're just like, I am shit and nothing I do will ever be good enough. And you're like, no, remember that time that I felt satisfied and proud?
Yes. In fact, at Coachella, I ended up playing, Diplo had a party in Palm Springs the day before my Coachella set. And so I ended up mixing into him at his party. Like, I played right after him. And I remember standing behind I remember being like, oh my gosh, if you mess this up, I'm going to be so mad at myself, you know? And I went and stood, I went up there. I'm like, hey, this is it. You're about to mix into him. He's going to be right there. And if you mess up, he's going to know.
Yeah, right? He's looking.
Yeah. And so but as soon as I stood behind the DJ decks, I was like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I got this. Like, I know how to use this. And that felt like that, even just like having confidence in myself in that moment was like I remember thinking, remember what this feels like right now. To feel like you can do something, to feel capable. You know, that's what we want. We all want to feel capable of doing whatever we want to do. And that was really, I try to think, I think about that a lot when I'm feeling scared and not capable.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad that you have that hack, you know. Hopefully anyone in the chat listening remembers that hack for themselves as well. Do you feel that way about Twitch streaming yet?
You know, I mean, I have become an infinitely better DJ. It's funny to think, because I thought that I was a good DJ before the pandemic, and now I'm like, I knew nothing compared to like just DJing on Saturdays I'm about to be DJing for 4 hours, and just, you know, having the right songs and the right it also forced me to organize my music, the pandemic did. So like each crate is, you know, it's mixed in key, it's organized like by vibe. Like, I know exactly, if I want this vibe, I know exactly where to go. Like, that's half the battle of DJing, is like organizing your music so you can recall it. And yeah, I definitely, I'm so ready to tour again, because like I feel way more confident and capable. I had no idea I could even feel like this at this point. So I'm excited to hopefully that keeps going, you know, but right now I'm like, whoa, yeah, this is how you do it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think it's interesting that you mentioned like organizing all your tracks and playing for longer.
Sorry, Kah-Lo is in this chat.
Kah-Lo's in the chat, girl. I saw her. I know. I wanted to shout her out. Shout out that Kah-Lo queen.
Massive shout out to one of my favorite artists of all time. She is a true queen.
She is.
So pumped up to see you, Kah-Lo.
She is, and she knows it.
As she should, yes. Guess with that green hair, yes.
I know, it was so cute. She actually was a guest of mine on the show previously, and my hair was a lot greener and a lot bluer, and we were looking like total hair twins.
That is adorable.
I have to re-dye. Oh, I'm so sweaty. Anyway, gross, y'all. I turned off my little fan in the room because I was like, I don't want to have like weird fan noise in the background. And it's one of the like 6 days in San Francisco where it's hot as hell. And you know, no one out here has AC. I'm not used to this. I'm from Florida.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I know. I just got to Texas where everybody also has AC, which is a nice come up.
So weird. Anyway, if anyone wants to check out my Kah-Lo interview, if you want to check out my Kah-Lo interview LP,
yes,
it's up on my YouTube page. So you can do so. She was fantastic. She has great energy, just like you do. So
I got to tour with her. We were both on a Sophie Tucker tour, and then we also did Jax Jones, and then we actually got an Airbnb in London together for like 2 weeks.
Oh my God! Wait, share a fun Kah-Lo story.
She's
hold on.
One of my favorite
fun fact.
I like wearing makeup or like getting dressed or putting any effort into my visual appearance ever, and so whenever I would like put a little bit of blush on or something before a show, she'd be like, yes, and give me all the encouragement. And I was always so inspired by just how she was able to like put herself together all the time. I mean, it's remarkable. And she's still literally every day I get up, I think like, man, what would Kah-Lo do?
What would Kah-Lo do?
To do it. Yo, I'm still very impressed by it.
Remember those weird WWJD bracelets?
Yes,
we should make some.
Kah-Lo, that should be your next merch. If you're still watching, that should definitely be your next merch.
Okay, I want to take it back to your live streams because I know you've got some really cool live streams planned. One in particular was the Halloween special that you're gonna do with Insomniac?
I'm so glad you brought this up. Okay, so we stream every Saturday with Insomniac, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time for 2 hours. It's a house hymn set, positive, uplifting.
I'm not missing that this Saturday.
So fun. It's so fun.
Wake up, get pumped.
Just like every Sunday, my family and I would listen to Grateful Dead as a family. Duh, hippies. And so it's kind of like a nod to that. Just like instead of going to church, go to the church of music and just have a ball.
Yeah, and your music is like real soulful. It's got that like kind of church piano. Like I don't know. I never went to church, so I don't know.
Whatever church piano is. Halloween is on a Saturday this year, so that means we will be doing this 2-hour stream on Insomniac on Halloween. Nice. So I'm looking for a really good Halloween costume.
Yeah.
If anybody has any ideas, I feel like this is the year to go all out.
Or it's the year to go all out while you're staying all in.
Go all out. I mean, go all out dressing up because, it gives us something to do.
Exactly.
And so my only idea so far is I was thinking of dressing as Christmas because I love, I'm obsessed with Christmas, and also I've always seen Halloween as the opening ceremonies to Christmas.
Yes.
Kind of opens the holidays.
Yes. And everyone's always saying Christmas comes earlier every year. Every year the decorations come out earlier and earlier, so you can just be like,
I love it. I know
the capitalist march of Christmas.
Yes, but I'm here for it. But I was also thinking of dress. I wanted. The Insomniac kids are a certain kind of raver, so I'm trying to think of a reference that they would dress as like a Diplo or something.
Someone, Haley Jackson said maybe an Elton John style piano, because you're a pianist. You could do big crazy glasses.
I have those glasses already.
Be kind of an Elton John look. I like that.
Yes.
Elena's photo wants you to go as Funfetti Cake. I don't know how you'd pull it off. Sprinkles everywhere.
This girl knows. Wait, that would be so fun.
Haley Jackson's also suggesting you could be Dead Mouse. The EDC kids know Dead Mouse, probably.
They definitely would know. I would just have to make the Dead Mouse head. That's not a bad idea.
If I'm gonna say, if you're gonna be Dead Mouse, I'd say put your own twist on it somehow. Somehow make it like the LP mouse. I don't know quite how you would do that. Maybe the eyes are like deadhead bears or something. Or be a deadhead bear dead mouse.
Wait, that might be the move.
Make the deadhead bear mask and I don't know, play ghosts and stuff.
I thought about being like Jerry Garcia, but literally nobody from Insomniac I feel like would know who that was. Probably, maybe I'm not giving them enough credit, but that's a really weird one. So
yeah, you just have crazy hair. You'd be like, I'm Jerry Garcia. They'd be like, you're an ice cream flavor. I don't know. Michael Milano says you should be a giant glow stick, which I think is actually hilarious too.
That would be super sick and so fun.
Potentially easy to do as well. You just have to create some sort of, I don't know, tube to be in and cover it, and I don't know.
Yeah. Totally.
I don't know how you do it. The fun is that you're going to have to figure these things out.
I know. I really, it's only 2 weeks away, so I got to get on it.
I know. I will tell you this. My favorite Halloween costume that I ever had was Abraham Lincoln. And so I was Abraham Lincoln. I got a real human hair beard. I got a top hat and a coat with coattails, but then I wore a mini skirt and some knee-high boots and some white stockings. And I knew I killed it because everywhere I went, people were like, is that a dude or is that a chick? And I was just like, yeah.
Wait, that's so funny because my favorite Halloween costume when I was 10, I dressed up as half woman, half man. And I split myself in half like this.
I love
this side,
it.
I put a beard on, and this time I did lip. My mom actually just sent me the photo of, I've been gender bending since I was 10, if you will.
Yes, I love it. Androgyny is the future, and the future is now.
Although it's also kind of, I was thinking back on it though, it's a little bit to be a man that means you have to put a beard on, and then to be a woman.
Right.
Also
very gender
stereotypes.
Yeah.
And I'm this actually isn't as forward thinking as I was like, Mom, come on.
Maybe now you can have a man face, but glitter beard and lipstick, and then somehow butch up the lady face.
Totally. I love that idea. Redo it.
Elena's photo wants you to leak that photo, by the way, and I agree.
I saw that and I was just thinking I definitely should do that. I really maybe it'll be an Instagram story sooner rather than later.
Yeah. as we count down to Halloween, we should all share our best costumes of the past.
Totally. Yes.
I want to give you a chance to also talk about, you said you were going to be doing a stream with Blondish that you were pretty excited about.
Yes, so excited about this one. Saturday night. So Saturday is a big,
wow, double trouble, boil and bubble.
Trouble. We do have a break in between those, so you can little disco siesta.
Good.
But it'll be from.
There you go. Get the info.
8 to 10. 8 to 10 Eastern on Saturday nights. I'm in Central Time Zone, which is like a
weird one.
So I have to translate all the time. 8 to 10 Eastern, and it'll probably be like some more like vibey. I'll probably do like more piano stuff. Nice. I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah,
we're gonna go in Saturday night.
Are either of these sets that you mentioned today going to incorporate some of these live elements that you've been working on? Or yes, okay, good.
Yeah, both of them I usually do. The Insomniac one is a little less, probably a little, because like the songs are so like heavy hitting and more straightforward. But the Saturday evening one, the tracks, the mixes are usually longer. There are a little bit more space for me to add live elements. So probably more live stuff on Saturday nights.
Yeah, good. Okay, well, I can't wait. I will make sure that I am there. I hope that you guys in the chat are there too, because we can meet up and we can say hey and we can like judge whatever costume LP ends up going with.
Or DM me any ideas. Literally, I'm asking anybody and everybody. I'm excited about it.
I love it. If all else fails, you can just put a mask on and be like, I'm 2020. I don't know.
How would you go? Okay.
Just like get some just have some toilet paper and like just hold a whole roll of toilet paper and be like, I'm March. Get it?
That's really funny. Yes, that is hilarious. Maybe you should take that one.
I might. Actually, yeah, my birthday's November 3rd, so we're trying to put a little like birthday party. Which is sad because that's also election day. So everybody vote.
I was gonna say, whoa, that could be a horrible or a good day.
Yep, I've had months to prepare myself emotionally, spiritually, physically. If you haven't voted yet, everybody please do vote. It's very important.
Yep.
Scorpio gang, yes, Kah-Lo. It's a good gang to be in. I don't know what that wink was. I did and got like a seizure.
Wait, Kah-Lo, when is your birthday?
Do 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 do. There's a delay, so we always
we'll wait for you. Cool. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, talk to me about. Kah-Lo's birthday's November 2nd. That's crazy. We're back to back,
and you both have green hair. What?
Dude, we basically are twins. Like I don't know. Like, I know what I want you to say. I want you to tell me that cool story you told me about how you got your stage name, LP Giobbi.
LP Giobbi. I know. It depends on the kind of mood I'm in when people are like, what does LP stand for? Sometimes I'm like, LP's just my name. I didn't think people would know it was a nickname so hardcore, but they definitely do. Or sometimes I say leopard print or long way or little pyro, if you will.
Ooh.
But there she is.
Yeah, somebody right when you said it too. That was magic.
Let's go, connected. What it actually stands for, though, is well before I was an artist in a public space making music, I started dating this guy who's currently still my boyfriend.
Ooh, lucky him.
He's a hoot. This was literally over 8 years ago.
Wow.
And he is in the music industry and started he started Snow Globe Music Festival.
Oh, I love Snow Globe. Fucking shout out. Yeah, that's his little baby, and Snowball in Colorado. And so anyways, he had just started those, and he was telling me his ideas for future festivals, and he was joking that I was going to steal all of his future ideas and start my own company called Leah Presents. Oh, okay.
So that, because he knew I loved Bill Graham Presents so much. And so that turned into LP. And then for the first time my parents intentionally named me Leah so I would not have a nickname. Like they just wanted me to have the name they gave me. So finally, and into my young adulthood, I finally got my first nickname.
This guy comes around.
This guy comes around. And so his friends knew me as LP, and I felt like I really I really got my first nickname, and I was so
Aw,
pumped.
LP is such a cool one too. Anything that has to do with like acronyms, it just makes you
Yeah.
feel real like you're cool, like you got swag or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Like,
it's been a fun one. And so then I needed a last name because there is an LP artist, and she's amazing. And we're in very different lanes, so people get very confused when they think I'm the LP. And so I decided to take my mom's maiden name, which is Giobbi, and it's also my middle name, and reclaim
cool.
it as like my way of reclaiming the matriarch, if you will.
yeah.
And I called my mom to tell her, like, Mom, I'm going to use your name as my stage name. And, like, my mom was like, man, that's a really bad idea. Nobody knows how to pronounce it. You're going to have a really hard time. And I was like, what? This is not the reaction I was looking for.
Yeah.
And she's been right. She's actually been really right so far. But we're working through it. People one day will hopefully know.
Aw. Well, I want to let the record show that I said it right.
You nailed it. I get so excited when people do that. I'm like, yes.
I'm with you. My last name is Bine, but it's B as in boy, E-I-N, and everyone's always like, Bane? Bean? And I'm like, it's fine. I know. It's impossible. So every time someone gets it right, I'm like, wow! Like, guys, tell them what they've won!
Yes. And a lot of times people think I'm saying G-O-B, like gob. So then people pronounce it like God. Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not spelling it out.
Or
I'm
like
LP,
Job from Arrested Development. I don't know if you ever watched that show.
Job, but that feels right.
LP, this has been amazing. I've loved having you as a guest so much.
This was so fun. I agree.
Yes,
just two gals chit chatting.
Just gobbing away. Just LP gobbing. Before I let you go, we're gonna let the song. Well, after I let you go, we're gonna let the song. Meet Again.
Yep.
Play.
Track ID.
Your collab with Little Boots, another talented artist that I love. Talk to me about that song. Talk to me about that video. I know it has a pretty deep message. It came out right at the top of quarantine. And I think there are some videos of you as a little kid in there. I might be wrong.
So the video was made by Xanda.
Xanda. Name so nice, have to say it twice.
He does. I'm just truly, I'd still be in a ball on the floor, like I said, if Xander didn't enter my life. But he put it, so it's footage of Little Boots, and then me as a kid. My mom sent me a bunch of videos, and then Xander's family, actually, like his grandma sent him like actual VHS tapes that he then found a machine to like convert as he's making this video and put them all together. Oh, I love them. Put them all together. It was so fun to watch that process and to see it gave a whole new meaning to that song to me.
Yeah.
Which came out. So I wrote the track on a train in Vienna. I was on the Sophie Tucker European tour, and I jumped off the tour for a night, and then I was meeting back up with him the next day. So instead of being on the tour bus, I was on a train, and the snow was falling, and it was like through the mountains, and it was so beautiful. And that morning, I'd woken up like anxious, like I have so much to do, and then when I got on the train, the internet didn't work, and I couldn't send any emails or whatever.
A blessing in disguise.
Such a blessing, man. So I set up I was touring with a TR-8S and a TB3 or in my live set, and the TR-8S acts as an audio interface, and so I pulled that out and I took up a whole table, taking up the space, and I routed the TB3 through that and into my computer, and so I was able to write this like little acid bass line and then program the drums, and then I just started tinkering around some like piano ideas on this MIDI keyboard I had, but it was like real. The piano was like way more melodic and more beautiful than anything I had done up to this point. So I remember showing up at the venue and finding Tucker and being like, I just wrote this thing that I love. Like, I don't really think it's for LP. Like, it's not really that high energy. Like, I don't know if this is. And so I just sat on it from December through March. And then when everything happened with the pandemic, I was like, it feels weird to like go write a banger right now. There's no dance floor. Like, it feels almost disrespectful.
Yeah.
So I pulled that track out like at 1 a.m. It just like came to me again. And I sent it out to Little Boots. Her and I were talking about some Femme House stuff. And so I sent this over to her and I was like, does this at all speak to you? Like, I really don't know what to do with this. And she had just listened to the Queen give a speech where at the end of the speech, the Queen said, one day we'll meet again.
Wow.
And so she heard that, received the track, and then boom, wrote the top line, sent it back to me. And I was in bed listening to it. Like, I had received it in my email and I just kind of clicked on it. And my partner rolled over and he was like, what is that? I was like, oh, do you think it's good? And he was like, that is an amazing song. And I was like, okay, I think this might be something.
Yes.
I sent it over to Sophie Tucker, and they FaceTimed me right away with tears in their eyes. And Tucker was going through a breakup at the time, and it like really spoke to him. And they're like, this is it. We have to release this.
Love
like,
it.
This will be our first release on Animal Talk, our record label. Like, this is, and I remember feeling like, I loved it so much, but I had no idea it would connect the way it did. I had no idea. And I got this necklace.
Ooh.
Before the track even came out. It wasn't even out. We were just playing the live streams. And, this woman, Liv, sent me this letter with this necklace that says "Meet Again" that she got engraved, Giobbis on the other side. And she told me this story about how she had lost her daughter to SIDS like a decade ago. And the first time she heard it on the live stream, she burst into tears, and it was like this cathartic release that she had been needing in the last decade. And she's like, that song makes me think that one day I'll meet my daughter again. And I just...
I literally just got goosebumps, dude.
That was a time, that was one of the first times I felt like I've arrived.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and every time I think about it, like, I remember I called my mom, it was like 2 a.m, and I was like, you won't believe what just happened. Like, or like this connection that I feel with another human that I don't even know.
Yeah.
You know, that is like the total reason. Like, and once you make art and you put it out in the world and you have no idea how it's going to be received, and everybody takes what they need to take from it. And that is so cool to me.
Yeah.
It's so wild and so cool. And I just felt so grateful to have been a tiny part of that experience for her. And
to know that you have touched someone else that is a stranger through something that you've created is the craziest out-of-body experience.
It's like, I mean, I can't, it is.
And I think that, you know,
the greatest gift.
Fans are like, your music means so much to me, but I think that to hear that means so much to an artist. And I hope that people take that with them. Like, this relationship goes back and forth, you know, like.
Oh, this is like, you are the reason I will keep going on the days that it feels completely stupid and pointless. Like, this is everything that fuels me. And I mean, I was talking earlier about how the dance floor fuels you, but like, those shared experiences are really the ultimate. And I mean, it gave a whole new perspective to my life, you know, and just like what's happening in the world. And, you know, I was thinking like, I miss the dance floor. And then, you know, she shared that with me, and I just like really gave me this next level perspective that I couldn't have gotten otherwise.
Well, congratulations. Wear that necklace with pride. I know that you do. It's on you right now.
Yeah, and I literally never, I feel like it's my guardian, you know?
Yeah. It's a talisman.
Yeah, and I framed the note that she gave me. I mean, it's one of the coolest things that ever happened to me.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that story. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for Femme House. Thank you for pushing yourself to strive to be a better creative and try new things. It's very inspiring.
Good for you for getting on Twitch right now and giving these, like, you know, you gotta be creative and innovative. And I know it's a weird, hard thing. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It was such a joy to have you. We're gonna play this magical song that's changing lives out here. And I hope that I get to talk to you very, very soon. And hit me up on DM and let me know some other cool stuff in San Francisco I should do, because I want to take the LPSF tour.
Very cool, very cool. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.